Welcome everyone back to the TBD Movie Club,
Oh, I like that name.
a little side piece that we like to do here where once a month we pick a special film according to a random generator we have, and we essentially talk about the movie, how it made us feel, and so on and so forth. I'm your co-host Doug, joined by Jose as always.
Hello, everybody.
Last month we did Spirited Away,
Yes.
so I guess our random generator was like, let's pick the opposite of an anime and just give you like a mindfuck film.
Yes.
And it gave us that. So it gave us a mindfuck film from the 70s or 60s, I believe.
I
I
think
can't
it.
remember at the moment, but
Yeah, I think that's what it was. It's 70s, but
yeah.
this
And
is
we ended up with Eraserhead.
yes. So, Doug was the one that picked this. This is why he's leading the episode, and for me, I knew nothing about this movie going in. All right, I went into this like knowing the least one could know about a movie. That is what I went into this movie with.
Okay. For people who don't know, this is David Lynch's film, his first film actually,
Yes.
released in 1977.
Mhm.
Since then, been it's been it's been seen as probably one of his best works. Even though when he first came out with it, it was very well hated. David Lynch has since gone on to do stuff like Twin Peaks, Dune,
Mhm.
and so on and so forth. And I think a lot of people do remark him as such a great director. So we really got to see what his student and young mind was thinking at this time.
This was
Uh,
kind.
any Any initial thoughts, like just from the trailer that you just thought, or just from the name? What did you think going
So
into it?
going in when I heard Eraserhead, I was like, "Oh, are they calling him that because the way his hair is shaped is kind of like an eraser, right?" That was like my feeble mind not really thinking when looking at this and not knowing what I was getting myself into. What is it? This for him, for David Lynch, is basically like George Lucas's American Graffiti. You know, it's like that first like jump off the cliff. You know,
Yes,
what is it?
just like I need a wow people, and
Yeah.
this is the movie to do it.
So after watching this, I actually did some more digging on it. Did you know it took him 5 years to make this?
I did, yes, but go on, go ahead.
Do you also know it only cost him $10,000 to make?
Something like that.
Yes, and it's because he was working a newspaper route in between shooting out in California. That's why it took him so long. So I
Yeah, it
found that
took
very
him
interesting.
that, and if I remember right, I think the wife of this main guy here, she also helped pay for the film herself.
Yes, and he also got a divorce in between it as well. That was one thing I had to mention because that was pretty funny. It kind of lends itself to the theme of this movie, which I also had to do more digging on once I was done because I was left very confused on what I just watched. But anyway, I don't know where you want to start this off.
Um, well, I guess this is David Lynch. This also came from his. He was starting to study film at the American Film Institute, and he was very much ready to leave, and he ended up with a scholarship as well.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, there's so little word in the movie that apparently the people who were reviewing this, like to give out budgets and money, they saw like, oh, it's only 21. There's like 21 pages of dialogue. That means it's only like 21 minutes. That's usually how it goes. For every page of a script, that's how long it is. Every page is essentially a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Is the standard rule. And it wasn't until later he's like, no, 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 this is a lot longer than that. And they're like, yeah, fam, we can't help you out with that.
Oh, but I mean, Jesus. So, have you seen like before we watched this? Did you watch this movie?
No, I have not.
Oh, okay. So we both went in. Well, you went more.
I knew a lot more about it,
Yes.
but I still was like, where am I getting myself into?
All
You know?
right. So let me just speak as someone who literally knew nothing about this movie, didn't even know its existence until you told me to watch it. All right. This, on the first view, is the most disgusting, repulsive thing I've ever seen. All right. Like there's, I didn't even know it was a horror until like just before we filmed this. All right. I did not know it was a horror movie at all. All right. And now that I'm like explaining how uncomfortable that movie made me feel, it explains why.
Yeah, it did a very good job.
I mean, oh my god.
Honestly, it made you feel so uncomfortable. Like there, and it's not a horror movie in that like there's jump scares and stuff. No, no,
No.
no, not at
Is
all.
this
There's
is
nothing.
this kind of I could best describe this as like Japanese horror, where it's like more psychological and just like making you feel uneasy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it does that, and a lot of it's the sound. I don't know if you noticed that
Yes. Yes.
there would always there always would be like a constant like mechanical engineering type of sound happening in the background.
Yes, yes, yes. Oh my goodness, it made me so uncomfortable the whole time. it
So
hmm?
yeah, no, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say like it did a great job on the sound and making me feel uncomfortable.
So I think the big theme for Eraserhead, and I don't really want to give more about the story, although you guys should have watched this movie of the month. We have Spencer, who's the main character here, the face of it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's essentially just it's a movie about children. It's the fear of having a child,
Yeah. What
and
is it?
at least that's what of course what I got from it. How about yourself?
So so actually, um, when I was watching it, I was wondering to my like it didn't click on me because I guess I was so like uncomfortable and confused about everything else that like at one point I thought to myself, how can they give birth to such a monster, right?
Yeah.
Which, if I would have said that to myself in a normal movie circumstance, I would have clicked on me like, oh, that's the point, right? Like
Hmm.
the parent being a parent and everything. But I really had to like take a seat back, do some research and everything as out after watching it, and if that finally clicked on me, and I was like, oh, okay. Really quick though, we could discuss a little bit more into this, and at some point I'll throw up like a spoiler for us, like a spoiler alert, and we can
Well,
go a little.
I feel like we should go into it early because I feel like I think even with just maybe like the first 20 minutes, that big thing that happens is just like
I was so
enough
confused about that.
spoiler for it.
Uh,
Yeah.
I was. Let me. I'm still confused about that whole beginning part.
Yeah. So let's be clear. Spoiler alert. Going
Yes.
forward, this
Um.
is such a mindfuck movie.
I
Within
have.
20 minutes, if we just talk about the first 20 minutes, it's already like telling a lot of it.
Yes.
And you guys should really get to watch this as well.
Yes. So, I'm throwing up the spoiler warning now. We have a little. I made a little animation for that. So there it is.
This is a spoiler warning. I repeat, this is a spoiler warning.
Yeah.
All right.
Go ahead.
So, that whole first portion with like that thing coming out of his mouth, I did not understand that at all. Do you have any like explanation for that?
I think that was more like, I think that was like, I interpreted that as like maybe sperm, or maybe like,
That's
yeah, like his
actually
sperm's coming out of him and is giving new life.
yes, yes, okay.
That's my interpretation of the beginning scene.
I didn't understand the thing at the window. I'm gonna keep it a buck
I
50
believe
with
that's
you.
called. I think that's called like the cool thing about this movie is that everyone, well, interesting, I should say, not cool, is everyone is essentially named. They have very vague names. The main guy's Spencer. His wife, girlfriend is X.
Well, it's
That's
Mary
usually what-
X.
Mary X, but she never gets called anything essentially.
Mm-hmm.
The
Mhm.
neighbor is just called beautiful girl across the room.
Mm-hmm.
The parents are just Mr. X, Mrs. X. That's it. Like, no one really has a name in this movie.
Man in the Planet, Godmother, Lady in the... Yo, that Lady in the Radiator?
Well,
Bro.
we'll get to that.
Okay.
We'll get to that. But
I don't think we should give a whole play-by-play of the movie, just like some highlights.
Yeah. I think like the big thing is like Spencer's just trying to live his life, meet his new girlfriend and her parents, and finds out Mary has a kid.
Yes.
As a kid, even though they like did it, maybe like less than a month ago or a week ago, they say, but it came out stillborn essentially, and that's why it has.
Let me throw a picture of it up here. I have one here.
Yes.
That disgusting monster.
So it's just a little disgusting little bag.
I say real quick, as I was looking this up, I found this. It is someone made an anime version of it. So, yeah.
Oh.
Disgusting. I know.
Yeah, no. It looks like those things from Star Wars that like in Camino, the Kaminoans.
Yes. But yeah.
So it gives birth to that, and the thing just constantly like annoys and cries and doesn't stop.
Kind of like a
enough
baby.
Enough to the point like it drives the mother insane. She runs away for a little bit. He has to sort of care for it, and this baby also has deformities on top of that. He has warts. He just has so much that just pile on and just ends up giving Spencer nightmares.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we get to one of your big things, the Lady in the Radiator.
Yes, I was very confused about that when I first saw it, and it got clearer at the end.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Any other highlights from that? I guess you're kind of getting near towards the end for that one, but anything you want to get to before that?
The whole tap dancing thing confused me as well. But if we're going with the thought of like the thing at the beginning being his sperm, then that would be like him shooting them off into the radiator, I guess, to kill them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or him just wanting to get rid of it.
Yeah, that too. But,
because I didn't interpret it like that was like a younger version of the baby that is there now. So when the radiator lady is squishing on them, it's sort of him trying to tell himself like, hey, you could just get rid of this thing,
Yeah, and also this movie gave us this horrible image.
Oh, the second dream where
yes, his head falls off.
Yes, he. I guess like this is interesting because it made me think of watching first time. It made me think of the story of Oedipus, where the son kills his own dad.
Right. What and like once this whole part with the head goes, like there's a part in this where a boy steals the head, takes it to an eraser factory, and they start making erasers out of his head. So in my head I was like, oh, I finally got something right in this movie. There's the Eraserhead. Boom.
Okay, so I guess let's jump to the ending because there is a lot that happens, but essentially, he goes crazy,
and
he can't handle it, and he
kills himself. Right? That's how that's how I interpret that.
I think he just killed the child. I don't know if he does end up killing himself.
Well, I mean, I saw that he embraced the lady in the radiator.
In the radiator.
So yes. I think that was him choosing to kill himself.
That's very interesting. I got the impression that the lady in the radiator was maybe his thoughts, like his subconscious. That was my interpretation. Like she's the voice in him telling him, do this, kill him, kill this kid.
Maybe what is it?
But yeah, definitely at the end where everything's just going crazy and the shock plugs are going off and
then it just like bleeds to white.
Yes.
Okay. What is it? Oh my goodness gracious.
It was definitely very interesting. A very interesting look at kind of the thought process of becoming a father, and that
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, for me it just really clicked, that fear, like coming from someone who wrote this, like wrote his fear of having a kid.
Yeah, and that actually kind of made me laugh even more when I realized that he got a divorce while making this. So I'm
Yes.
like, that explains it.
Yeah. Well, he had a kid. Well, he had a kid during it too. Like that was his first wife, and he had a kid that he didn't expect.
Mm-hmm.
David Lynch we're talking about here, and even the daughter herself was born with a deformity herself. She had club feet, so she had
Bro,
to have surgery earlier in her life too.
man,
To which some people direct that to maybe the child with the warts
Mm-hmm.
problem.
Maybe.
Even though the daughter herself has come out and said no, that's not really how that is.
Right. Well, I mean, if your parent made a movie about giving birth to a child with some form of disability, and then they either killed the kid or killed themselves at the end of it, how would you feel about that?
I'd be like, thanks, Dad.
Thanks for
I'm here
making
though.
a thanks for
Oh,
making a classic movie, I guess.
oh,
Thank you.
dude.
And not
How
killing
did
me.
you? How'd you feel when you opened up the sack? Like I just felt
Ugh.
disgusted. Yeah.
Bro, at that point I was already holding back like throwing up, so I
No, I don't know. I'll describe it a little bit for people. So at the end, he decides he's going to kill the child. He's just so upset, and I can see that he does get very suicidal. He feels like he has no one to go to.
right.
If wife's not there, the woman next door is no longer, cares about him.
Right.
He really has nothing, and he takes this out on the kid. And so the whole time the kid's covered up in like this sort of like a bandage, sort of like a mummy style.
Mhm.
If our audio listeners can follow me. And so in the end, he decides, he grabs a pair of scissors. He just cuts through that little the tape, or the medical tape. Turns out there is no body. The baby's so young, and so young that it doesn't, like, all the organs are on the outside. The only
Yes.
protecting it was this bandage.
Ugh.
Oh, dude, yeah, it looked like roadkill, like
Yeah.
staring at that.
Oh my goodness gracious.
And then he just finally stabs the thing.
Mhm. But anywho,
Yes. So let's go at the end.
yes.
Hose, how would you rate this movie?
So,
So, just so
I've
people know, we rate these movies on a scale
Yes.
of 1 to 10. 10 being the best, 1 being sucky. Sorry
Yes.
for cutting you off, host.
No problem. So I was juggling with this thought in my head because there's like so much to unpack in this movie. So, if if I knew if I was able to unpeel everything in this movie on the first time of watching it, I would have gone higher. But I think because I had to do so much extra digging myself, I think I'm gonna go with an 8 on this.
Okay.
Because
Do you think on like on extra views, do you think it will go higher or lower?
I don't know. I'd have to see. I mean, I think it did a very good job as a horror movie, making me feel uncomfortable, and just making me feel like icky and just like while watching it. But it was so there were so many layers to it that it was hard to follow. That
Like
once
an onion.
Yes, once I was able to get a little help in doing more like digging up more information, looking at papers and stuff about the movie, I was able to understand it more. But I'm gonna go for an 8 right now.
Okay. Are there any questions you feel like you still have unanswered about the movie?
um why did Mrs. X kiss him? That was let's see. I was just kidding on that one, but
Yeah.
let me think here. I don't,
It's,
besides
it's fine to say no.
no, no, it's I had to think for a second because there's so much to unpack that I have questions, but maybe the biggest question, like, and it's a silly one also, is even though you had that one scene where you turned his head into an eraser, why did you call it Eraserhead?
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
It was just a dumb thought, but I mean, like, I don't know. Maybe that's part of the point to like throw you off, but I don't know.
Yeah, I at first I thought it was called Eraserhead because I thought the child was gonna look like an eraser.
Kind of does. Kind of does.
I guess so. Yeah, I mean it's just like a big like pink thing.
We don't even know the color because technically it's in black and white, but anywho, what do you?
I just got like an idea. I'm not
What?
sure if I'm even right or anything, but the part where the part where they grab Spencer's head and they put it into the machine that shoots out erasers.
Mm-hmm.
I think I felt like thinking. It's just coming into my head now, thinking about it so long, and I felt like it was more like I felt like it was sort of talking about like pregnancy or sexuality. You get me?
You mean how like you
Because
took a
it's
piece
so,
of
like how like it's so easy to just like one little mistake or something like let's say not wearing a condom, and it's like boom multiplying.
okay,
Like
okay.
that's an interpretation I got of it.
Okay, I could see that. I could see that.
Mhm.
All right.
Like how it's so easy. How I guess maybe as men we could be very much so just open to just, all right, yeah, I'm just gonna do it with this girl and whatever, you know. But in reality, it's like we can produce like that, like just nothing.
Like rabbits. What is
Yeah.
it? So point of the story, guys. Wrap it up. You gotta wear your raincoat. But
Yes.
so
Wear a
Doug.
condom.
Yes.
Make sure your partner also maybe takes their pills if you want to,
Yeah.
or hell, do both, or female condoms. Those little things that go inside them, which is a little uncomfortable, but I guess if they're into that stuff, whichever. My rating, I will give this a 9. I thought this was very well done, and just it shocked me too. Someone watching it I knew about the movie, but still watching it first time. It just felt so. It felt fresh, you know, like something I haven't seen a movie like this.
Mm-hmm. It was definitely something. I will give you
Yeah.
that. All right. So now that we've reached the end of this, we're gonna pick we're gonna get the topics for next month's movie. We got a
Yes.
list here of various times in, just years. We have different topics, genres. Let's see what we get.
Yeah.
Randomize. Animation drama. Do you think that works, or should we re-roll?
I mean, that's worked for me.
All right, we're gonna.
But goddamn, we gotta do animation again. Oh well.
All
I respect
right.
the random.org.
Respect the random.org. All right.
All right, everyone. So by the time this episode gets posted, we will announce on there, maybe in the descriptions or something,
Or on
or
Twitter.
we'll just announce it in the next podcast, and on Twitter.
On Twitter. Go to our link tree. You got Spotify, Apple Podcast, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Anchor, and Discord.
We will be announcing what movie
on
we
our
pick
Twitter.
inside.
We will announce it on our Twitter. So go follow us.
Oh man, now you can make me watch another anime.
Yee.
God, I'm like, oh, you're gonna pick like your name or something, and I'm like, oh, you're getting revenge on me, aren't you?
That's perfect. Thank you.
For the backstory, we had a movie night at a friend's house pre-pandemic, and Jose brought that movie, your name,
and no one
which
watched
we
it.
talked about on the podcast. Well, we did. Well, because the thing we voted on movies, and Jose, yours was like the third or fourth movie we watched that night. So I think
No,
we
you
were
guys
all
didn't
just
even watch it.
out.
You guys didn't even watch it. But hey, it's cool. Maybe now you'll watch it, and now you'll have to,
Well, now I'll have to watch it. I don't know what you mean.
All right, everyone. Have a wonderful week. We'll see you next month with our
Take care.
pick of the month. Bye.
Bye bye.